Okay, so in yesterday's session, we have seen action filter, um, customizing action filter. So before that, I'll summarize yesterday's session. So we added a parameter called is trial profile. It's a Boolean value and the receipt number. And this receipt number, it is mandatory. So whenever, if you don't provide receipt number, it will throw an error saying please pay fee and provide receipt number. But if it is a trial profile, for trial profile we are not taking any charges. So it's a like 7 days free profile. So for that you have to bypass this error message. So if you remove this error message, this will be applicable to all the profiles: trial profile, monthly profile, yearly profile, lifetime profile, all the profiles it will impact. But my idea is, if it is a trial profile, bypass this error message, otherwise throw the error message. So for that, we created a custom action filter, which we are deriving from attribute and iAction filter. So as part of iAction filter, have these two methods. So this will be before executing. So when you send the request will come to this action method. So on executing, that means while you are executing this request, this on executing will execute. This one will be after executing your request. That means before calling the action method, this will be executed, and after calling the action method, this will be executed. So here you can access your entire context and other objects, and you can see and you can modify the error message. So let's see what options we have. And not only this, you have to, in the program.cs, so builder.services.configuration API behavior options, you're suppressing model state invalid filter. So basically what will happen when, if any of the error message like required field, if you don't provide the date of birth, if you don't provide the phone number, if you don't provide the phone number in this format, so this is called model, right? So when there are errors in your model, the model state will become false. When the model state become false, your action methods will treat this is a invalid model and they will not allow your request. So in program.cs, you are suppressing this API behavior options and the suppress model state filter you are making by default true. So what options we have, we'll see that. So that at least it will execute, and what you have done, and you are using custom action filter so that on executing will be executed when you hit this action method. Okay, let's see. Okay, so the receipt number, I'm not giving any receipt number. Okay, so let's understand the context. So if you see the context object, so there is a model state. What is the state of the model right now? dot is valid. So is it false or true? It's false. And what making this model state false? So you can check here. So it's saying receipt number. So actually this is the error it should throw. If you don't suppress this error message, so it should throw error saying the receipt number is mandatory. Okay, so just bypass this and don't execute this. Bypass this. So after that, unexecuted will be executed. Okay, so I'll remove this name because this is a mandatory, right? So now execute this and see the context. See the context dot model state. Now if you see again the model state is false, but you have two error messages, right? You have two error messages. One is for receipt and one is for name. So what we need to do is add is trial profile. What is the property? Are you with me so far? So here I'll add is trial profile and I'll say it's true. So if it is a trial profile and I'm giving some random trial user 1. Okay. So when the trial profile is true and so here I can come to my action filter and I can say context dot model state dot is valid. Okay, if not is valid, then only I have to do, right? If trial if is model context dot I need to access the model state action arguments, or how can I access? Is it route data? Let me see how can I access. I need to access the model. Is it route data? No. This is result. So let's see how can I access. Go back here and execute one more time and see how can I access the run one more time. So your context action arguments. So okay, so action argument and you're getting is trial profile. So in the action arguments you're getting everything, right? So context dot model state where model equal to context dot action arguments dot how to access that all action arguments of 0. Action argument is a iDictionary. Arguments dot. I'm trying to get the entire object. First, say first. Let's see what you're going to get. So execute one more time and see what you're getting in the model. Oh, okay. Or else action arguments action arguments dot patient formation. No, what you're getting if you say 0. So when you say first dot value, yeah, first dot value, you have to get first dot value. First dot value. So this will give you the entire model. So when the model state is false, so here uh, if model dot uh, what is the property is trial. Okay, so convert this into patient view model. Patient view model. Yeah. So if model dot is trial profile, okay, ampersandile contest dot model state dot error count if exactly 1 ampersandile context dot uh, model state dot. I'm trying to read the errors from the context. So far, are you with me, or is it confusing? If it is error, so error count. I'm trying to read the error. Error count equal to 1 model state. So model state, what problem? This will give the error count. What will select? Okay, try to see what you're going to get. Run one more time. Why? Okay. Yeah, this is little complicated, but this is the real-time scenario in your real time. Okay, yeah. Did you miss the beginning? Yeah, yeah. Okay, so here model states of items dot 0. Yeah, model state dot items. It's an extension to the yesterday session. So I'll explain it again. No problem. Select or else you can say items. So model state dot zero. Select aggregate all any cast contents. Say first dot value. So what you get? Yeah, first dot value dot, is it raw value or key? What is raw value? It's null. It's value dot key. Value. So value is nothing but sub key. Model date first dot value, and in that I should read the first again sub key. So what is sub key? Model context dot model state dot first. Are there any element at 0? Try this. Element at 0 dot key. Yeah. So if this is key, okay. So what I am trying to do, my model has a required attribute and a field called trial profile. If it is a trial profile, I am suppressing this error message. So in order to do that, first I suppressed at application level, then I created a custom action filter, and this, the application should allow if user if the user profile is trial and the receipt number is null, this application should allow. If the user profile is false, if the trial profile is false, then all remaining error messages should appear. So that is the goal. So here what I'm trying to do, so key equal to receipt number. Okay. So then what I can do, context dot result equal to new content result. Again I'll explain once I content result, content HTTP result or content result. It's giving content HTTP result. Let's see content result. Content okay, use content HTTP result only. Why content result is not show potential fixes. Okay, use this. Okay, content result, then content equal to model state is not valid, status code equal to 400. Okay, so if the model state, okay, let's see. So when the model state is false, I'll check the negative scenario first. So now the model state is false. Okay, so it's accessing the entire model and the key receipt is okay. So if the trial profile is true, error count equal to 1, and if it is at receipt number, I should say okay. So here what we are trying to do, contest dot model state dot, if it comes false, then only you are coming here. So if it is true, you are not going to do anything. So if the model state, if the trial, if it is a trial user and error count is 1, and if the error contains receipt number, you are saying error count greater than 1. So for trial user, we need to avoid, we need to skip the receipt number, right? So then there is no need to do anything. So else case, so here you can directly call base, okay. So bring this into the else case, and here you can call base dot on executing why it is not calling base dot on executing public, we are overriding it. Context attribute does not contain definition on executing, yeah, that's why I'm calling on base. So this is a parent class, okay. What we can call is this dot on executing means it will call the same method, but this should call base dot r. Don't know why this is not allowing, okay. Yeah, if it is trial profile, okay, and exactly one error message, and if it is receipt, then I am avoiding, and if it is trial profile, okay, so this entire condition, if else, okay, if it is trial profile and error count greater than 1. If it is error count greater than 1, then what I have to do? I have to say, I have to set the error message here. Okay. If it is trial profile, error count greater than 1, I have to do this. Else if there is one more if condition, you can do in a better way. If it is trial profile and so error count equal to 1 and the error key not equal to receipt number, that means some other validation messages are there. Okay. And else if if it is a not trial profile and error count greater than 0, then you have to set the error message. Okay, so first let's execute and see uh, the scenarios, then we'll come back here. So now error profile is false, and so if it is a if it's a trial profile is a false, then I have to provide the receipt number, but I didn't provide the receipt number, and let's see how it executes. Okay, come here. So it's a trial profile true and error count greater than 1. Okay, it should be greater than 0. Yeah, then it throwing an error. You can see model state is not valid, right? If it is a trial profile false, but in case of trial profile, whether it is a trial profile or normal profile, name is mandatory, right? So how it is behaving? So receipt number, error count greater than 1. Yeah, if it is greater than 0, yes, it should throw an error. Model state is not valid. You can construct this. Right now I'm passing only model state is not valid, but you can construct the error message and you can send. Okay, so if this is right, okay, we will check this. So if it is a trial profile, so for trial profile receipt number is not mandatory, but the name and other fields are mandatory. So let's see. Now it is a trial profile. Okay, so when it is a trial profile and the number of errors are 2. So there is a uh, so why it's 2? Okay, receipt number. Okay, yeah, receipt number is fine, but the number of errors are 2, so that's why you are seeing I'm saying it's model validation false. So when I give name trial user 2, I'll give, so now my request should pass, it should not stop. So come here and check. So if it is a receipt number and if it is a trial profile and the error count is 1 and the error key is receipt number, then it's not throwing any exception and your request will pass. It's true. Okay, so you should see your record here, right? Okay, so did you understand Okay, let me um, conclude what we have done. So this is our model. So I introduced a new property called receipt number and a trial profile is a trial profile. So for a trial profile, so for trial profile, receipt number is not mandatory. So if it is a trial profile, user can skip receipt number. But if it is not a trial profile, normal profile, then the receipt number is mandatory. So first what I have done in program.cs, I suppress model state valid true. That means even though your model contains errors, they all suppressed. So now I defined a custom action filter. I named it as custom action filter, which will inherit from attribute and action filter. And I am attributing that action filter with this action method. So now this custom action filter is the gatekeeper. This custom action filter is the gatekeeper for this action method. So whenever these two methods on executed will be executed after executing the action method, and on executing will be before executing the action method. So before executing action method, I have to see my errors and I have to customize my errors. So here everything is driven by this is model state valid. So your model state will be invalid when there are some error messages. The attribute, the data annotations, whatever you used, they will throw exceptions or errors. They will add errors to your model state if you miss few parameters. And when this is false, my customization will initiate. And I can access the entire model by using this statement. Context.action arguments first dot value will give you the entire model. And then I'm verifying whether is it a trial profile or not. That makes a difference. If it is a trial profile and my model can contain error messages and exactly one error message, and that too the error key should be receipt number, then I can skip it. So when the trial profile is true and error count is 1 and if the key is receipt number, then I am not doing anything. And if the trial profile is true and the model state and error count is greater than 1, then I am throwing a error. Okay. And if it is trial profile and error count is exactly 1 and the key is not receipt number, then I am throwing an error. If it is not trial profile and the error count greater than 0, then also I am throwing an error. And we tested it, all of them get satisfied. So we can simply do one thing. Comment out all these else cases. Let's test it out. So close this, and if it is else, so here this is one condition where I am not throwing any errors, but for remaining all cases I need to throw error, right? So let's see, let's test this out and see whether it is working or not. The specific if else conditions will be useful and you can add a error message, specific error message. Right now I am adding only. Okay, so what is your object? Okay, stop this. So I'll insert a new record. I'll take a trial user 3. So it's not a trial profile. Okay, and I'll say send. So it should throw an error now. Yeah, it's throwing an error. Good. So if I remove username, it should throw an error. Yeah, it's throwing an error. If it is a trial user, and if I don't provide name, it should throw an error again. Yeah, it's throwing an error. And if I provide name, trial user 3, it should not throw any error. Let's see. Yeah, it's working perfect. Okay, so this is called action filter. So in interview, they might ask, have you implemented any action filter? So again, what we have done for the validation and data, custom data annotation, the same thing you can do. And this is a valid and real-time scenario where you need to uh, grab your model and you have to suppress errors. So there are multiple ways where you can achieve this, but one of the way is using custom action filter. So what you have done, what you have to do, you have to inherit your class and you have to implement these two methods, or at least one of these methods. And here you have to suppress the error message. And now you have to use this in your action filter. So what will happen if I don't use this action filter? Okay, I'm not using this action filter. Okay, and so what is this? It's a trial user, and I am not giving the name. So let's run this. Okay, it's hitting this. So whenever you are using it, you have to use the action filter. Okay, any questions here? Options dot, what else you have here? So I'm using this for I'm using this action filter just um, to throw some errors, but you can use this place to change your model. So from user you are getting some XYZ data and you want to add some more data items to it, then you can use this place. So this is where you are doing some activities before executing and after executing. So even after executing, for some users, if you want to change the return data, so here you can do. So the context will give you everything. So if you see here, the context dot result, that's what I am trying to throw. So the context dot result. So here also, when you are returning, you can add some additional data and you can send it to the user. So this is the place where you can access the input data, you can change it, you can also prepare the output result, and you can throw some errors, and you can access the complete model state, you can change the model state, and all that you can do. Okay, so this is also important session.